M in the East Coast to, wait, what, 1 p.m.? Yes, on the West Coast for your Californians getting back from lunch. And welcome, assuming anyone's here. I'm Jeremy Parrish, and you're watching maybe Mega Man. I had this crazy idea of starting a comprehensive Mega Man playthrough series, and we're going to begin at the beginning with this famously difficult game for the NES. Hopefully, the sound levels are okay, and you're not getting blasted out by the sound of the music, or my voice isn't too loud, or whatever. So, Mega Man, of course, was released in 1987 by Capcom. It was the first game they ever developed specifically for a home console, so far as I know. And was kind of an unassuming little game that hardly anyone bought until Mega Man 2 came out and was very good, and everyone said, oh, maybe I should go check out that first one. That was my case. And you can't blame us because the box art for the first game was really, really bad. So anyway, the game's much better than the terrible box art would have had you believe. And so we'll get started. I usually get started with Gutsman because his stage is really short, but really difficult. And if I can make it through this stage without messing up too badly, then I know that I'm in the zone to play Mega Man. And if I screw up, then I should probably just shut off this stream and go home. Oh wait, I am home. I work from home, but you know what I mean. So here's the challenge, right? Sort of the first challenge right out of the gate is these moving platforms where the wires worn through, the platforms will drop and knock you off the platforms onto the lower level. So this takes pretty good timing. It's not that hard once you get used to it. Okay, and I got through, so I'm in good shape. It's not that hard once you get used to it, but the first time you get there, you're just like, what the hell? How am I supposed to beat that? Anyway, so, like I said, really short level, but lots of difficult enemies kind of along the way, and crazy platform hazards and so forth. These guys are called Picklemen, which does not mean that they are made of pickles. It's like German for pickaxe, so you know. Okay, I've kind of taken a couple of hits already, so that's embarrassing. Maybe I can get that power up. Yeah, there we go. Alright. So, onward and upward, well actually downward, and I'm already at the end of the stage, if you can believe that. Although this guy sucks. There we go. There's a trick to him that doesn't always work, but generally, if you jump before one of those guys hops at you, that's not cool, he respawned. If you jump, then it will also jump to the higher level. It has two heights. So you can kind of make it, lure it into jumping really high so you can run underneath. And, okay, so at the end of the stage already to the boss, it's a good start. Gutsman is not too difficult, as long as he doesn't get up in your face, which it looks like he's going to do this time. I did sort of a test run this morning where I played through this level just to see if the cartridge I'm playing on would work, and I managed to beat him without taking a hit because he never came up towards me. He just kind of hovered at the back of the room, which was nice, but it looks like he's not giving me a break this time, so I'll do what I can. Alright, there we go. One boss down. And there's a trick to the rocks he throws. They seem really dangerous because they kind of explode into shrapnel, but if they always hit the front edge of those two rocks at the front of the room. So you know that they're always going to sort of explode into shrapnel at the same places. So if you stay sort of toward the front edge of those rocks, you can beat them pretty easily. So, of course, Mega Man, you know, it's called Rockman in Japan, as in rock, scissors, paper. So, now that I have Gutsman's power, that can be used to defeat Cutman. So I will go after Cutman next. Someone said, why do the Game Boy and Mega Man games suck? I don't know, but they just do. It's a complicated discussion. We can get into that when I actually play the Mega Man Game Boy games, because yes, I'm doing that too. Those I won't be able to play entirely on original cartridges like I've been trying to do. I own all the NES Mega Man games, but not all the Game Boy NES game or Mega Man games. Mega Man 5 on Game Boy is really expensive, and I don't think I will ever own it unless we win the lottery. But since we don't play the lottery, that might be tough. I think Cutman is the stage most people play first, just because of its location on the level select screen. It's kind of the default position for the cursor, so people come to this level and they're like, hey, this is a really hard game! And it is a fairly difficult stage. There are easier stages. Bomb Man stage is probably the easiest. But this one's not too bad. Once you've played it a billion times and learned all the timings. This is also the only Mega Man game, at least classic Mega Man, that has a score meter. Those little balls that enemies keep dropping are just for points, they don't do anything otherwise. They dropped that for Mega Man 2 because who cares? This is not an arcade-style score attack game, it's more of a get-to-the-end kind of game. And that was enough of a challenge on its own, so they dropped that right away. So, you know, when I beat Gutsman, I gained his power, so in case you've never played this game, here's what happens. You gain an ability's power, and in this case, Gutsman lets you pick up certain rocks and blocks and throw them. It's not a very useful power because there's only a few of those rocks around the game. But it does exist. Conveniently, Cutman is weak to Gutsman's power, and for whatever reason, Dr. Wily said maybe I should put some rocks that Gutsman could throw in the lair of the guy who is weak to Gutsman's power. So that makes the game a little easier than it really ought to be. Wow, a surprising number of people watching the stream. You guys have seen Mega Man before. There's nothing new here. Go home. Or you can stick around, that's cool. I don't mind. Oh, that was cheap. Alright, occasionally the Gutsman power can come in handy, but as you can see there, it can also work against you. I was hoisted by my own petard. According to an interview with the director of this game, the original designer, Kira Kitamura, Gutsman was actually going to be the protagonist, or they kind of were going in that direction and then decided not to. That could have been an interesting game, although Gutsman power is kind of limited, so it might have been sort of boring too. Who knows? Oh, that was nice. That guy usually gets me. And here's another one of those jerks. Eat some rock, buddy. I'm gonna get stomped. Yeah, there we go. Those guys hit like a third of your health. It's really kind of ridiculous. It's really hard to avoid them. Like the one on the Gutsman stage almost always gets me. It was kind of miraculous it didn't hit me. So it's a little bit of a cheap hit right before you go up against a boss, which is, you know, obviously like the most difficult part of the stage. But, you know, this was the sort of early days of the NES, and in terms of game design, I've seen much cheaper and more unfair. Plus, the balancing on this game is just ridiculous. Oh. Like, 2 hits of Gutsman's power kill Cutman. That's not something you see in the later games. Like, Metal Man's blade will kill him in 2 hits in Mega Man 2, but otherwise that's it. Over in the stream chat, Carabit asks, did the mapper technology greatly improve in the year between Mega Man 1 and Mega Man 2? Yeah, the NES chip technology improved quite a bit, actually. I actually took this cartridge apart this morning. I got one of those tri-wing screwdrivers that let you open up NES carts in the mail yesterday. So I opened up this cartridge so I could actually give the contacts a good cleaning. And this is a UN-ROM game, which I don't know the specifics, but basically it's, I want to say on the same kind of cartridge as Super Mario Brothers. Maybe it's one step above that. But basically that allows a little extra memory mapping, a little extra storage space. But Mega Man 2, I believe, was on an MMC1 chip, which was where the NES really started to get a lot better. More sprites, more moving objects, more storage capacity for background data and that sort of thing. Could be getting those details wrong, but definitely the Mega Man 2 used a better chip than Mega Man 1. So now you know. Alright, and up ahead we have our very first appearance of the hated disappearing blocks. If you don't jump on them just right, they'll push you to the side and kill you. Couldn't remember how the pattern goes here. Okay. It's not too difficult here, but in Iceman stage, it's just the worst. And Heatman stage in Mega Man 2 is the worst. But Iceman stage is really terrible for completely different reasons here. Alright, before I make these jumps, let me make sure no one's complaining about sound quality in the chat. Okay, Super Smash Snake says, am I going to stream Mega Man Soccer? No. Tron Bon? Yes. Assuming it works with PS Vita TV. I guess I could stream it from a PSP, because I do have one of the ones that have the video out, but the video quality is not as good on that, so I'd rather do PS TV. Oh, my timing is better than usual. Normally when I, oh wait, I went the wrong way. Oh well. Usually when I play on a stream, I play worse than when I play in solitude, but I'm actually doing okay. Except, oh, yeah, this was a mistake. Yeah. Alright. Oh, and here's the tricky part of Mega Man. The magnet beam hidden back there. If you don't have either Gutsman's super arm power to move these blocks out of the way, or Elecman's beam, which you get by beating the stage, you can't get that and have to come back for it. That's another reason I start with Bomb Man first, because that puts Cutman in the chain before Elecman. The tiny little strategies you learn after playing a game over and over for 30 years. Maybe not 30, but 25. Yeah, so there's a lot of climbing in the stage, and a lot of these little electric beam things. And they usually stop zapping you just long enough to climb past them, so it takes some pretty good timing. This was always kind of a pain, because that guy, yeah, really cheap, has a tendency to jump right off and knock into you if you're on a ladder. Okay, there we go. And I don't think Elecman stage has a, what do you call it, a big eye at the end, because it's already a hard enough stage. I can't remember. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is one. And the stage is just cruel to the very end. Yeah, okay, it's cruel to the end. Oh, you jerk. That was just not cool. Alright, so Elecman's really hard, and hits really hard, so it's possible I'm going to die here. So please don't think less of me if I do. That big eye would not be exploited. But Elecman is vulnerable to Cutman. I guess the idea is like you're cutting electrical wires? I don't know. But in any case, I think it takes 3 hits to take him down, although he hits really hard with his electric beam, so I might not actually have enough health to weather a single shot. Although, then again, I might actually jump out of his way and survive. So how about that? Makram Hi M, I cannot pronounce your name, in the chat says, did the same guy do the music for this game as in Mega Man 2? No, the same woman did the music for this game, but not for Mega Man 2. That was Manami Matsumae. If you go to USgamer.net, the site that I'm representing here, you can read an interview that I did with Miss Matsumae about composing for Mega Man and some other games that she did later on. So go check that out. Go read it. Anyway, so we're at the quarter-hour mark. Let me reintroduce myself, Jeremy Parrish for USgamer.net, streaming the original Mega Man as the first part of a purported theoretical marathon. We'll see if it actually happens, but I'm hoping to play through a whole lot of Mega Man games, one at a time. And in fact, I just placed orders for Japanese versions of Mega Man X2 and X3 and Rockman and Forte for Super Famicom, because I'm trying to play this on... trying to play these games on original hardware and software whenever possible, but let me tell you, the American versions of Mega Man X2 and X3 are ridiculously expensive, and it's just not worth it. So I picked up the Japanese imports, which are quite a bit cheaper. Not just for the stream, I'd like to own them. I keep meaning to buy those every time I'm in Japan, and then I never do. Because I get distracted easily, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so I'll be able to play those from the original cartridges, which, you know, those two games had special chips in them that created 3D effects. I think Virtual Console emulates them really well, but most emulators don't handle them quite right. Like, there's this 3D wireframe effect, so that's one of the reasons I want to do original hardware whenever possible. And I do have those EverDrive ROM discs as backup, but those don't support the special chips in Mega Man X2 and 3. So it's one of the rare instances where I can't cheat. Oh man, I hate this thing. Alright, so I'm trying to remember how this works. That's how it works, okay. That was smart. Why, yes, I do like wasting my ammunition. It's a very cool thing to do. All the Mega Man fans do it these days. Come on. There we go. And, you know, screw this. I don't feel like doing the block thing. Oops. Wow. Alright, well hopefully I have enough to get past this pit. Actually, you know what? Maybe I can sacrifice a life just to show you how much I hate this pit. These guys... Alright, well that was pathetic. Yeah, okay, so... we're off to a great start with this series. But those platform dudes are, like, super glitchy, and if you don't play right, they'll knock you off into the pit, even though it's not your fault. You can just kind of fall through them. Pretty cheap. I don't think that was deliberately cheap, though. I think it's just kind of shoddy programming. And it seems maybe unfair to call this shoddy programming, because they were really... this game was really kind of pushing the limits of the NES. There wasn't anything on the system of this caliber at the time, so I think we can cut them a little slack. Guy's the worst. Those little capsules that drop are refills for your special weapons, which is why I use them sometimes. Alright. You know, I think I'm going to skip the show and tell here and just cruise on past. I mean, the developers knew this part was super cheap, so they actually put a magnet beam refill in the middle of the section, so you can skip past all those stupid platforms with the magnet beam. I feel like that was... oh, I missed that. I feel like that was one of those last-minute design changes where they were like, yeah, this kind of sucks, guys. Let's maybe change it up. Oh, monster. I hate you and your family. All your friends. Everyone you know. Man, that guy just won't... what am I doing? Alright, so on to Iceman. Looks like I'm still making, kind of keeping my schedule. Oh, nice. Big health refill. I'm trying to beat each stage in 5 minutes or less, and we're right on time here with Elecman. Or Iceman, who goes down to Elecman's beam. The Elect beam, I haven't shown that off yet. but he hits really hard. Ooh. And unlike other Mega Man games in the series, enemy projectiles still stay on the screen after the enemy dies, so it's actually possible to beat an enemy and take a hit and die. It's terrible. Tragic. Alright, so I just saw someone reference Krull in the chat, that's cool. Iceman, of course, is good against Fireman because, I mean, that just seems kind of obvious. So I'll try to speed through here and finish the last two stages by 4:30, so that I can get on with the Dr. Wily stages, which are much harder. Well, some of them are much harder. Some of them are, like, crazy easy. Kind of a... Still kind of figuring out game design here, I think. People were trying to sort out just what a platformer should be. So there's some weird inconsistencies and difficulty imbalances and so on and so forth. There are always little tip-offs for the weapons that work best in each stage. In this case, you can freeze those fire pillars with the ice, what is it called? Ice Slasher, which can come in handy in certain places. It can also sort of trap you and screw you over, so you have to be careful. But here, if you do it right, you can create a platform up to there. Man, I made that look a lot easier than it actually was. I'm not bragging, I'm expressing bewilderment. In case you're wondering, yeah, I've played this game a lot. I owned it back on NES in the day, and spent a lot of time with it, so at this point it's kind of muscle memory to play. Ow, little bastard. Oh, no! But, you know, even muscle memory can't keep you from doing stupid things. So we're down 2 lives. Might actually have to use a continue. That would just be shameful. My luck, I'll make it to the Yellow Devil boss at the end of Dr. Wily's first stage, and then have to continue and have to play that stage all the way over from the beginning again. That's how my luck usually goes. And then there's this part. It's technically possible to get through there without taking a hit, but I'm terrible at it, so we're just gonna cheat. So a possible topic of conversation for the chat would be, how did you guys first discover Mega Man? Did you actually see the Mega Man box art and say, yes, this is a game that I need to own. This ugly, ugly box. I really need this. I need this in my life. Or is it something you came across later? Did you only play Mega Man once it hit collections? This game has been compiled many times. We can save the which Mega Man game is best chat for later in the series. Maybe once we get to Mega Man 3, you guys can argue about whether it's better than Mega Man 2. Always a fun one. That's up there with Super Mario Bros. 3 versus Super Mario World. Alright, Fireman is pretty easy, but he's got that thing where fire appears underneath you, and there's nothing I can do. I've never been able to figure out like a pattern to it, or any way to avoid it, so that's not a big deal here, but when you have to fight Fireman in the final gauntlet at the end of the game, it's impossible to get through there without taking any damage. I'd love to see someone explain how that works, and show me how to get past that jerk, because I hate him. And one last stage to go before the final gauntlet of Dr. Wily. And like I said, this game kind of gives you little hints about what works best. In this case, Fireman is good against Bomb Man, and the spinning little thing, the little orbit that you have around you when you shoot the fire beam, whatever it's called, Firestorm, I think, is actually really good against those flea guys that appeared at the beginning. You can also hit those guys before they even pop up and take them out in a single hit. So they, you know, they put some thought into the design of the game. pea shooter, though. I feel like I've told this story before, but I remember taking this game over to a friend's house, and I wanted to show it to him and so he could play, but like his younger brother had a friend over who insisted on playing, and his mom was like, "You should let my son play." So we let his son play, and he shot something, and it fell into those pits down there, or the spikes down there in the pit. We were like, "Oh, you should go get that." So the kid died. It was really kind of douchey of us, but it was funny. No one liked the kid. He was a brat. This guy is called Sniper Joe, and these guys show up throughout the series, and they're always a big pain in the butt. I did not mean to hit that killer bullet thing, but it's cool that I did. There's kind of a weird thing with the physics where grabbing a health power-up kind of pauses you momentarily and can blow the trajectory of your jumps, so you actually kind of have to be careful. Oh, can I get that? Oh, not even cool. Come on. If only Mega Man had learned his slide attack. I finally get a 1-up and it's inaccessible. Actually, maybe this was where we told the kid to jump into the spikes. Anyway, I can't help it. Oh! Oh! Well, that was my karma. That was comeuppance. I deserved it. Oh, wow. Might not keep my schedule. All because of the sin I committed many years ago. Tell you what, karma is a bitch, and it's not instant. Don't believe John Lennon. It takes years and years to come around. I think this is going to be one of those things where I die and it blows my stride and my pace, and everything I do from here on out will be terrible. Yep, look at that. Look at just me soaking up damage. Pathetic. So yeah, if I could have gotten that extra life, it would have been no problem. But I just glanced over and saw the instant karma joke in the chat, and that's very funny. Whoever said that, I approve. The one about making it from scratch. Well done. I don't really use the special weapons nearly as much as I should in this game. Mega Man 2, of course, it's kind of hard to resist the temptation to just cheese it with the metal blade. I'll try to be more inventive than that when I play, though. Jump into my trap, Sniper Joe. I don't think the Elect Beam works against him. Nope. Does it? Oh, it does. How about that? All those years of just waiting for him to jump up, and I could have been shooting with electricity. Oh, nice. So it does freeze him. Well, I'm trying out all kinds of new strategies that I never knew about before. Let's see. I think if I jump to the right, then I'm okay. Watch me get I almost did it. Okay, so this guy goes down to the fire storm. And it's pretty easy. And I'm right on schedule. 6 stages down in 30 minutes. So, if you are just joining us now, for some strange reason, even though we're halfway through this stream, hi, I'm Jeremy Parrish for USgamer. This is our Thursday retro stream. This is the first episode of Man-a-thon. I've taken it upon myself to attempt to play through every single Mega Man game. This is going to take a long time. It's going to be like an hour a day, if that. I'm not doing it all in one sitting because I would die. Someone says there should be a Mega Man version of the Super Mario Broth tumbler. Yes, that would be amazing. I would buy that. I would subscribe. It would be awesome. So, Ice Slasher has its advantages. If you can get that guy to jump, it's pretty rad. Why fight when you can just cheese? Oops, I think I screwed that up. Yeah. Well, that was my own doing. Speaking of cheese. So the first stage here kind of makes use of all the skills you've acquired so far. Oops, I blew that. You have to freeze that thing just right. That'll work. Wow. Wow. Wow, what's wrong with me? There we go. Man, that was some sadness right there. But fortunately they knew I was going to play really horribly and put a power up there. Which was nice of them. And like I said, the Elect Beam can, or whatever it's called, can blast those things away. It can also shoot those guys upstairs. And I think I'll just let them go. This one's always fun. You have to be careful not to get knocked back into those spikes, because that sucks. Also, these guys, they suck too. Really hate them. Because you can't use up too much Magnet Beam here, because it's mandatory in a moment. Fortunately, there is a little bit of a reef charge. And